Welcome in. Happy Friday. We have been red hot. Left you guys off on Monday with the free winner, 2-1 dog Nationals. They took care of business then, and things have picked up all week long. 5-1 the last 2 days. Hit some big blowout winners yesterday. Pelicans get it done, double-digit win. We had the Royals and the Mets, couple of dogs winning by a combined, 29-7 in 2 games. Absolute blowouts there. Things have been good. Make sure you guys stay tuned. 4 bets on the day out. We got 30 games in the NBA and the MLB. Going to try to go through it as fast as we can, cover as much info as we can, and bear with us if we get distracted by any info or line movement that we're looking off on throughout the show today. John, things been running good. Hopefully we can keep it going. How you feeling?
Oh, tired. As Ben said, when we get a full card, NBA, every NBA team playing, every MLB team playing, we have been working around the clock. So my Master Edge members, we sent out a bet, I believe about 7:30 this morning, Eastern time, had to get it out. Getting the edge, whether it's 7 in the morning or 11 p.m. at night or 12 o'clock and during a halftime bet, whenever we get the edge, that's when we bet. So we'll talk more about that game. And if you guys stay tuned, we're going to give you all of our bets. As Ben said, 4 bets made already, a couple more games that we're leaning to. We'll see where the lines go and lineups. NBA, but before we get even started, we're down to the last 2 days of NBA. There is no games tomorrow. So you got a full slate today, full slate Sunday, no games on Saturday. With that, guys are going to be sitting out. Yep. Positions are locked up, like the Hawks are already locked the 10 seed, Bulls for the 9 seed. You can see most of the guys are going to probably sit. We're going to go down that card. But these are your real tough days to bet. You got to make sure you know what you're on top of everything. And nobody is on top of things the way me and Ben are here at Master Edge. It's what we have. It's an edge every game, every day. Get the edge. You'll get the money. We've been saying that forever. Yesterday, good example. Started off. Ben, I got to tell you something. Yesterday's the way you want to have a day. No sweat, 3 cigar games, basically. We start off in the afternoon. First time I looked at the score, Mets 7-0. I had to check my eyes. I was like rubbing my eyes, like 7-0, because we're doing so much work. I don't have the liberty to actually watch the games right now until this craziness slows down a little bit. But 7-0, and then Ben texted me the next thing I know, and he's like, "Those are 2 pretty good starts." And I saw the Casey had 9, so 2 romps there. And then our late game was the Pelicans, and the first score I saw there was up 20 because we were already trying to get the work done for today. So the only game was a loser was the Pirates. And sorry for my Philly fans out there, because since we've been doing some stuff with Skinny Joe, we got a lot of Philly guys following us. And so unfortunately right now, I just feel Philly's a little bit inflated as far as their price. And they're not hitting the ball as much. So we've been against them. That was our one loser with the Pirates yesterday. And hey, we're against them again today. You'll notice that as the year goes on, when a series happens, we just think the series price might be wrong, and we will repeat with that same side quite a bit. So look for that. But we're on the Pirates and a couple other baseball games, 1 basketball game. Stick with us, and we'll give them all to you.
Yep, guys, stick with us and make sure you guys tune back in on Monday. We're going to be doing a little bit of an NBA playoff breakdown going in on Monday as the playoffs start on Tuesday. And if you guys haven't yet, make sure you guys check out the app or the website, masteredge.com. Go there. As we said, absolutely red hot heading in the playoffs. No better time to sign up. 30 games on a day like today. You guys are going to want insight like that all throughout the weekend. John, let's go ahead and dive in. We can start here with the NBA. Should be a little bit quicker, just because there are, like John said, so many games that how could you want to get involved? So many teams not interested in playing. Going to be some situations like that today in the NBA. Top game on the card, though. We have the Bulls at the Wizards. Bulls back-to-back 4 city in 6 nights. You have this Wizards team coming off a loss at Minnesota. They were pretty competitive there. As far as the matchup history, they split a couple of meetings this season, both at Washington. They split 4 meetings last year. Bulls, like John said, locked up. Wizards have been playing a little bit competitive. Kuzma, he hasn't been playing. Poole, he's questionable. You got both teams missing really, really key pieces. And you're looking at Washington as a favorite, which we haven't seen many times this year. probably for a good reason. I mean, they have at least a little bit more to show up for pride-wise. Bulls, I think they're already looking on to that play-in tournament. Not a game I want to get involved in, but we Wizards are nobody here for me.
Yeah, Wizards, what I get, the second worst home record straight up in the NBA.
Yep.
So nothing to look at there. I'll take the next one. It's Magic at 76ers and injuries. And this is a theme, guys, injuries all day long. So Franz Wagner's missed the last 2 games for the Magic. And with that, they've got blown out by double digits in both those road games. Magic have been a great road team covering this year. Where are we covering 24-17 against the spread? And that's with these last 2 losses. They were 24-15 prior to that. Philly, now Philly's listing Embiid questionable. Since he's back, now getting the whole squad back, also Tobias Harris back, even DeAndre Melton, who's been on the shelf since way back when, all of a sudden, Philly could be a team to be reckoned with in the East again. Joel Embiid, when he was on the court, so we got a few things. Joel Embiid, who's played half the amount of games as Jokic, has got more free throws than him. That's the strength of him going to the free throw line. Joel Embiid has scored more points than he's played minutes. Joel Embiid was having a monster year. His last game was the best since he's come back. Now, they've got him listed questionable. They've been off for 2 days, and like I said, nobody plays tomorrow. I would assume he's playing. Philly owns the Magic. Owns them to the tune of 13 of the last 14 and 11-3 against the spread. Magic have lost 10 of the last 11 trips to Philly, 3-9 against the spread. So this is all Philly. It's a big number. Is Wagner playing? Are we sure Embiid's in? We're waiting on that info. Again, that'll be the theme, the line, and the info, injuries, who's sitting, who's playing the entire day today and Sunday.
Yeah, Eastern Conference playoffs could shape up very interesting with Heat and 76ers maybe catching the top 2 teams in the first round there.
Hey, 76ers, a win over the Magic gives them this. Magic could find themselves in the play-in. Things could turn around in these next 2 days. Philly's sitting in the 7th spot, but Pacers Magic only 1 game ahead of them. A tie here not only ties Philly with the Magic, but gives them the tiebreaker because they've won the 2 previous meetings. It's Philly and nobody. Just depends on the injuries.
You got Hornets at Celtics in this next one. Hornets, they come back. They get a win at Atlanta the other night. They're down as much as 18. Boston, they're back-to-back. They lose to the Knicks last night. They rested some starters. Expect them to rest more starters today. This is a line, if they're playing in January, you're looking at a 15, 16, 17-point line. We're looking at a fraction of that here in this one because what does Boston have to play for? Absolutely nothing. They've clinched up everything. Even some of the miscellaneous stuff they could be playing for, such as franchise record. There's still 4 wins off the franchise record in wins. So there's nothing in that aspect they could be going for. This is just how many guys are Boston going to sit? What are they going to feel with the team today? You got Grant Williams. He's questionable. Obviously, the former Celtic. Maybe he wants to get up for this. Hornets, they played him tight in a couple of games this year. No interest in the Celtics. They just have no reason to play tonight. Not advocating backing the Hornets. Got to see the number here. Could be one of those games. If you can get the Hornets at a good live price, would be worth the take.
Yeah, just a correction, Ben. Celtics didn't sit anybody last night. They all played, which makes me believe they all will sit tonight. You could see they were lethargic last night. They're just waiting for the fucking postseason to start right now. They got beat up in Milwaukee. They got beat up last night. The score was a lot closer than the game. Knicks jumped all over them. This is what we call playing out the strength. Nothing to play for. That's why you'll see them only as a 7-point favorite when they were just, 15-point favorite at Charlotte last week. Anyway, with Celtics resting everybody tonight, Charlotte showed, they showed me at least, they went to Atlanta and down as much as 18 points, still fought, came away with a win. So they're still trying. I always want the team that's trying instead of the team that's not showing up. Celtics aren't showing up. Charlotte or nobody.
Yeah, as far as the sorry, I meant to say at the end of the third quarter last night, but yes, thanks for correcting that.
Right.
Nets at Knicks. We have this next one. John, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, hey, Knicks have owned them lately. 5 straight wins, all 3 this year, absolutely burying them by an average of 12 points per game. They've won the last 3 at Madison Square Garden by 18 points per game. But Brooklyn's been off the last couple of days. They played at home while the Knicks are coming back-to-back, 4th and 6, win off the Celtics in the 3 spot. They're all ready. Does Brooklyn show up to ruin their crosstown rivals' shot at possibly getting the 2 seed? Because as we'll talk about later, Milwaukee's the 2 seed, but that looks like they're setting everybody tonight. So 1 game behind Milwaukee. Knicks still need wins because they've got the Cavs are chomping at their heels, a game behind them. Anyway, with this game, big number. Who are the Nets playing? Remember, at this time of the year, just before game time, they might decide to sit everybody. Mikal Bridges, he's got that Iron Man streak going. He's probably not going to sit out. Everybody else is a question mark. But for me, Nets or nobody, depending on who sits.
We got Pacers at Cleveland, the 1 NBA bet on the day so far. John absolutely killed the number on this game, taking 4. Obviously, that's not no.
Had to do it at 7:30 in the morning, but we got to go when we got to go.
Yep, that's hopefully we can get a winner out of this one. Some of the bigger moves haven't been fair to us this season. We'll see how this one fares. But of all the games today, this is a matchup. You have 2 teams really coming for it. You have Indiana, 1 game back currently of Cleveland. They played this matchup tough. Cavs have won 4 of the last 5 meetings in Cleveland, but Pacers, they're 4-1 ATS in those 5 meetings. So really, really tight matchups. We'll expect another one tonight, John, with 2 teams fighting for playoff spot.
Yeah, I put it in the preview. So Indiana looks like they're playing real good basketball right now. Siakam really started to fit in the last couple of weeks. Cleveland. Now, Mitchell finally come up with a game because since he'd been back, as a matter of fact, his last game was his highest scoring game since, I believe, January. Let me get the exact what we've got in the preview. Mitchell scored 29 points in his last game, the most he'd scored since February 27th. So that was his best game in a while. He'd been in and out of the lineup with injuries. But Cleveland just not getting it done. Their last 4 games, 3 losses. The only win over the G League Grizzlies. So give me that Pacers team that's always seemed to cover when they go to Cleveland 4-1 against the spread. Last 5 trips, we took +4. Both teams are in the hunt. Cleveland needs a win. Yep. Pacers need a win to stay there. We want to stay in that top 6 and avoid that 7 through 10 playing. I took Pacers +4. That line now 2.5.
Then we have Lakers at Grizzlies. Lakers coming off that loss to the Warriors. Let them hit 26 threes. LeBron had a flu game, showed up late. Still put up a hell of a stat line, 31, 7, and 11. AD, he didn't play. He's coming back. Grizzlies just absolutely depleted. I don't think there's anyone more excited for this season to end than Grizzlies coach Taylor Jenkins. I mean, what he's had to deal with as far as rotating players and everything else. This Grizzlies team, not much left of them. They're playing more and more and more of these G League type players. No interest here in Memphis, and it's a massive number. I'm not advocating laying this with the Lakers, but they're obviously in this 3-way race right now with the Kings and Golden State as far as avoiding the 9-10 play-in. Need this game. We'll see how they show up coming off a pair of losses. Would be Lakers or nobody as far as the team showing up, but a big number. Not advocating laying that on the road.
Huge number, but this is a G League team. These are guys playing on 10-day contracts. A couple of days ago, I put the Grizzlies injury list for the Cavalier game, and I posted that on our Instagram. It's just insane. Next game is Denver San Antonio, and as I wrote in the preview, Denver coming off a letdown spot. They just beat the Timberwolves to take a 1-game lead in the Western Conference. Now they're going to go play San Antonio, one of the worst teams in the West. But San Antonio's been playing good ball. Now, they got destroyed at Oklahoma City, their last game. But Wemby didn't play, and they're already missing Sokin, Vassell, and Kelvin Johnson. So if Wemby sits, not interested. But this Wemby, he delivered this year. He lived up to the hype. In the beginning, a little rough going, as we all expected. But every night you're looking at this guy, and it's 27 points, and it's double-digit rebounds, and it's 7 assists, and it's 6 blocks, 7 blocks. I mean, you don't see blocks like this. It's insane. A little bit on the turnover side. Look, this kid, for his rookie year, in the beginning of the year, I thought Holmgren was giving him a run because Holmgren was on a team that's a challenge for first place all year. But with the numbers that this kid put up and what he's done with these other 3 guys, the next few best ball players on the team, he's doing it by himself. Does he play today? He should. The spot was all Spurs or nothing, with Denver coming off in a letdown spot. But they hit this number from 14 down to 12. For me, it's no play at 12. Even if Wemby plays at 14 with Wemby in, I would have played it.
Yeah, need Wemby in there. Plus 12 when he's on the court with their defensive rating this season, which is by far the biggest in the NBA. His impact on that end alone, forget the offensive side, is massive. We got Hawks at Timberwolves next. You got a couple of teams here with players kind of getting back in the groove of things. You had Trae Young, who missed a long stretch of time. He came back for that last game. They blew that game to the Hornets. They were up 18. You got Johnson, who's going to be out for an extended time. It's pretty much done for the year. Don't imagine the Hawks going too far in the playoffs at this point. You have DeJounte Murray. He missed last game. Capella, they're questionable. So Trae Young getting back in the mix of things. I would imagine they want a game or two with all those guys on the floor together. We'll see if that's what they do. And Minnesota, Cat, he's been out since the beginning of March. He's coming back. Another team here coming off a tough game there against Denver. Didn't pull it out. The chances of them pulling off this one seed looking skim, but they do need this win here. Two teams figuring things out. A lot of going on here. I actually wouldn't mind the under in this matchup, just as far as a lot of different things going on with these two teams getting sorted out before the playoffs.
So Minnesota, chances of them pulling the one seed out really tough, because Denver gets San Antonio tonight and then Memphis to close out. So very tough to see Denver lose either one of those games. Anything can happen, but Minnesota's got to worry about the 2 seed with OKC. They're tied with OKC. So if it comes down, if they both win, they both advance, you want to have that home court in the 2-3 meeting. So they'll look to win this game tonight. Hawks, this should be a no-show. They're locked in at the 10 spot. Nothing to play for. They win, they lose. They're going to go to Chicago for the 9-10 play-in game. This is a game that I think you get Trae Young out there, get him some more minutes. Maybe you sit Murray. This guy's carried the whole load while Trae was out. Atlanta's missing a lot of other pieces. I would think Capella sits tonight because he played the last game after that double overtime with Miami. So it'll be a skeleton squad for the Hawks going out against a Minnesota team coming off a tough loss, needs a win, see if they can pick themselves up. But it's just a big number. It would have to be Timberwolves or nobody.
Yep. Then we got Bucks out OKC, Milwaukee coming off a big win against Orlando to snap the losing streak. They got a lot of guys looking to be taking a night off. Giannis and Lillard, the two big ones, already going to be out. And then you got some of those role players, Lopez, Middleton, Portis, all questionable. Got to see what's going on with them. Doubt they show. I mean, they don't look like they're taking interest in fighting for this 2 seed. We'll see what they do. But I think for them, primarily, it's about health, especially with Giannis's injury. Everyone else has to be healthy. As far as OKC, I mean, they're in that same situation as Minnesota, needing a win for fighting for that 2 seed. The 1 seed not seeming likely. Bucks have owned this matchup. Don't think that continues today. They're going to be a shell of themselves similar to Atlanta.
Yeah, they're not going to play anybody today. It seems like they don't care if they take the 2 seed or not, or whatever reason. Looks like everybody's going to sit. We already knew Giannis was going to be out. He'll miss the final game of the season also. They announced Lillard questionable. Line went from 6.5 to 10. And then this morning, they put everybody questionable, and that's Lopez, Portis, and Middleton. If that's the case, you've got an OKC team that needs to win, as we said, to get that 2-3 home court with Minnesota against a team that's just not showing up today. And they got a reason to beat them down because Milwaukee's pretty much owned this series. Milwaukee now won 6 straight, and they just beat them up at Milwaukee by 25 at the end of March.
You got Raptors at Miami on this next one, John.
Yeah, Raptors, Miami. When the hell does Miami beat a team by 14 points other than Portland a week ago when they destroyed them by 50? Miami, one of the worst against the spread teams the last couple of years in the NBA. Toronto, as bad as they've been and as bad as they've been on the road, they cover. They have better than 500 against the spread on the road. The question is, who are the Raptors playing? The Raptors have been sitting different guys each day. It's been Quickly and Dick. It's been Barrett and Trent. So let's see, are they giving it an effort? Miami, what are they going to do? Where are they going? Look, 9-10 are already decided. We tell you, Bulls in 9th, Hawks at 10th. Miami Heat right now sitting in the 8th spot. Then I don't think they catch a Philly. Philly's got pretty much, I don't want to say Philly's got a pretty much of a win tonight. Orlando's a good team, but they've just owned Orlando. Miami's not going to get to the 6th spot. They're 2 full games behind the 6th spot. They're a full game behind Philly. I don't see them getting up there. Does Miami show up with a game? This is Toronto or nobody. We're waiting for the lineups. If they're sitting guys, that tells me they're not going out with an effort. If everybody's coming to play, this is a 2-game series. The Raptors are ending this season 2 games at Miami. Are they just going to not show for either one? Big number. If Toronto's playing the guys, I'll be on the Raptors.
We got Pistons at Dallas next. Detroit coming off a blowout loss. They have now a franchise worst 67 losses on the season. Dallas absolutely dominant the last month and a half. 16-2 of the last 18 games. One of those 2 losses without Luka against OKC. And in that stretch, the number 1 defense in the NBA. You think Mavs, you think Luka, Kyrie, a couple of your best offensive players. What they're doing defensively as well. Shout out Jay Kidd. He's got it going for them. Kyrie's out tonight. Luka questionable. Probably doesn't play. Probably shouldn't play. They're locked into this series with the Clippers. And even the last couple times they've had these playoff matchups, the road teams dominated. Both these teams this season been better on the road. So as far as, trying to inch for that home court advantage in the series, not sure how much it means to them. Got to see what's going on with Luka before you bet this game. But this has all the makings for a letdown spot for Dallas and Detroit showing up here in the back end of the season.
Shocked that Dallas played Kyrie and Luka in the game at Miami just the other day. If you're going to sit them tonight, why play them that night? That was a back-to-back. But as Ben said, Kyrie already ruled out. Luka questionable. I think he's more doubtful. We'll see where that goes. Next game is Rockets-Portland, and we were 1 day late with the Rockets. Thought the Rockets were going to fall down. That was I hate giving off free bets. This free bet thing to me is a joke. You got to get all our bets, not one of our bets. We might have 20 to 30 bets during the course of a week. So the one bet we gave out during the week was that happened to be the Magic at Houston the other day, and Houston just got up for that game. 5 straight losses. The last being a game that they blew in overtime against Dallas that they blew a 22-point lead just to look like a no-show spot for me. They show up, they win that game, and they don't show up last night at Utah. So I think their season now is over. Okay, we got Branham for San Antonio out. So that's why we wanted to watch the San Antonio. Wait to see if Wemby comes up. But anyway, yeah, Houston, now their season's over. Portland, terrible. Almost as bad as the Grizzlies. Simons, Grant, Brogdon, Sheldon Sharp. These guys have been out basically forever, but they just keep hanging in there. And they have actually covered their last 4 home games, all double-digit numbers. Do they show up for a win against Houston? Portland and nobody, but I'm not getting involved in this game.
We got Pelicans at Golden State next. New Orleans got it done for us last night against Sacramento. Zion, a little scared with how he fell on the wrist. I don't know if you guys saw Charles Barkley say he got to fall on your ass, but he looks like he's going to be going today. Got to see. I mean, they got enough issues without Ingram. Obviously, without Zion, any hopes of success in the playoffs goes down the drain. Golden State, they rested 2 of the guys, Clay and Dre, the other night. They're coming back. Both teams been playing great basketball. New Orleans 9-1 their last 10 road games. Golden State 9-1 their last 10 overall. Matchup history favors Golden State mostly, but a couple of big blowouts this year for each team on the road. Pelicans to go in, beat them by 30+ in Golden State earlier this season. A lot of points here. Like this Pelicans team, like the way they match up against Golden State. Would be them or nobody for me in this situation just because of the necessity of this game. Golden State technically can still play for that 7 seed. New Orleans, they need to win here as far as avoiding falling into the play-in. I just think it's a bit more motivation to that one. If they pull it off tonight, we'll see what they do in the last game of the season, depending on what happens with the Suns tonight. But to me, this game's Pelicans or nobody.
Tough game. Just a tough game in that one. Just a little bit of an edge, as Ben said. Dre and Clay sitting last night. So with both teams on a back-to-back, that's 2 of your core 5. That'll be a little rested for Golden State. Jazz at Clippers. Again, Clippers, the Dallas game starts at 8:40. With a loss, Clippers will know that they've cemented in the 4 spot if Dallas was to lose. I don't anticipate Dallas losing whether Luka and Kyrie sit or not, but they do have that liberty. Now, we know Kawhi is out. Harden's missed the last couple of games. I expect the rest of the Clippers to play tonight. And this looks like a blowout spot. Utah finally snapping a 13-game losing streak at home last night. Got to go to L.A. where they usually get slaughtered. Clippers 7-1 last 8 meetings in L.A. straight up and against the spread. So it's a huge number. What do the Clippers have to play for? If they see the Mavs lose, maybe they give some more guys rest or they just dog it. Could be a game at halftime we want to mess around with. It's Clippers or nobody. There's no way I want to bet the Jazz coming off that win. The Jazz is sitting. 4 of their top scorers haven't played, and that's Markkanen, Collins, Sexton, and Clarkson. And then Walker Kessler also has been out. I don't think any of them are coming back for today. So it's Clippers or nobody.
Could be one of those spots looking at Clippers halftime or first half specifically. If, Mavs do end up dropping that game, Clippers could come out guns blazing, rest the guys in the second half. Suns at Sacramento. Last game of this NBA card, you have this Phoenix team coming off a win against the Clippers. They split that 2-game set. Another winner for us the other night. And then Sacramento obviously played last night, lose to the Pelicans. They've now dropped 4 or 5. They have the depth issues with Huter and Monk. That's all kinds of problems. They haven't been playing good basketball at home. Suns needed a bit more. Sacramento, they just got to limp into this play-in tournament. Suns still have a chance to catch New Orleans. Absolutely have to win today if they want to do that. So imagine they're coming for a game here. Just don't want to lay the points with them on the road. They haven't been looking the best lately. Big number here as far as a home dog with one of your play-in playoff teams. Still no interest in Sacramento either. Staying away here.
Man, Sac now has dropped it to a tie with Golden State and the Lakers, all for that. Call it the 8th through the 10th spot. Remember, 9 plays 10, 7 plays 8. The 9-10 winner plays the 7-8 loser, and those 2 winners are your 2 teams into the playoffs. So big game for Sac here. They could go from not long ago, they were on the heels of being in the 6th spot and missing the play-in. They could possibly wind up as the 10th seed and have a road game and get knocked out. And that's what it looks like right now. Sac is just falling off. Monk, 6th man of the year. Uter, 2 guys that they missed big. They're not that deep. They can't hold up. You could see Sabonis wearing down. They've worn on this guy. He had his streak of 61 double-doubles snapped the other night, wearing him down, wearing Fox down. I just can't see them doing it. So Phoenix, that big 3, they put it together the other night against the Clippers. They put it together in the 4th quarter where they had me sweating. That was one of our bets. We thought we were going to lose another one. We laid 7. The game closed 12, and we had to sweat it out and wait for Phoenix to come up with a big 4th quarter. So that 4th quarter was the only good quarter they basically played in the last 3 games, because the first 2 games, they lose at home to the Pelicans. They were down 35-4 at home to the Clippers, Clipper team without Kawhi and Harden, and then they go back and this is why we use the revenge. That's one of our big things for the models. Revenge was big. They were coming in with revenge. You had a back-to-back team sitting all their guys, so it wore down, and that's when they were supposed to catch in the 4th quarter. But do I want to lay this number on the road? No. Do I want to take a tired Sacramento team? No. It's one that, hey, unless something crazy happens or we look at it at halftime, see if we see a spot, we'll sit off this one. We got enough bets and a few more, I believe, coming on the way.
Yeah, a few more on this MLB slate we'll get to right now. That's the NBA slate, guys. One more big slate of those on Sunday. If you guys want those bets that we could have in the final day of the regular season, sign up on the app or website. Make sure you tune back in on Monday for the playoff breakdown. We got a big baseball card. We'll try to run through this one pretty quick. 3 bets on this slate so far today. John, I'll let you take this top game with the first bet here, Pirates-Philly. I know you teased it earlier.
Yeah, I apologize to my Philly guys. Again, doing some stuff with Skinny Joey. So if you guys saw us on his podcast and you guys are new members, sorry, we're against the Phillies. I just think they're overrated a little bit. I think the Pirates are underrated a little bit, and that's what's making my numbers say I got to come right back. We were with the Pirates last night, our only loser of the day. We're right back on them today. I can't give Sanchez that much of a pitching edge right now. Philly winning some games now. They're not tearing the cover off the ball, limping in with a few runs here and there. So I give the Pirates a shot. They were worth the plus 145. We took the Pirates.
Then we got Braves at Marlins. You have Max Fried going for Atlanta, who has just been abysmal. 11 runs on, 12 hits, 4 walks, and 5 innings in 2 starts. No interest in him. They were cracked yesterday. Braves, for as great as their offense is, have serious pitching concerns with the injuries and everything else. They gave up 16 yesterday to the Mets. That's a banged-up bullpen, banged-up starting rotation, and the guy who's been pitching the worst of them all going today, except they're playing the worst team in baseball right now, the Miami Marlins, makes it tough to want to go for it. Maybe Rocky's better than them. I think Marlins are better than how they've been playing, but they just haven't been playing the best of all. They did get a win against the Yankees the other night. Would be Marlins or nobody here. No interest in Fried. I think you're better off looking at the over in this game. Marlins bat started to heat up on the back end of that trip. Fried's been getting cracked, and you have this Atlanta team, which, despite all the pitching issues, still putting up almost 7 runs a game, batting over 300.
Yeah, there is just no reason for me that I want to bet on the Marlins, but I am no way in the world want to bet a pitcher. Fried is much better than this, but he's just not getting it done right now. Anyway, let's go to that next game. That next game's Cardinals at Diamondbacks, and I'll tell you guys right now, I haven't bet it yet, but I am looking at Mats. So this line has gravitated up a little bit for Arizona. Arizona just kind of looks like they got a little bit of that World Series hangover to me. Yep. Lose a couple of leads in Atlanta that we were on, and what a tough beat in Atlanta. A 6-0 lead, 8-2 lead. That's a plus 179 dog take. It was one of our few losers this week. So it just looks like a little bit of a different team. Mats has been great. I can call him right now the best pitcher on that St. Louis staff, maybe except for Gray. We'll see how Gray gets in there. But Mats looked really good. Fat, obviously your 2 pitchers there are Galen and Kelly. So he's at best your 3rd or 4th, depending on where you want to put Henry and Nelson, the other guys in the staff. So I see value. St. Louis off. They got, just look at who they played. Dodgers on the road. They start on the road. They come back home. They get a tough series against Philly, who they don't play well against Philly. They sit Goldschmidt the last game. He got off to a rough start. Maybe a day rest. He gets it going. St. Louis, nobody. Depends where the numbers go.
Yeah, Goldschmidt rested before facing his former team, Arizona, back there. We got Padres at Dodgers, a couple of these other NL West teams. They met in Korea earlier this year. Yamamoto, he was absolutely crushed in that start. But again, coming back now, he has looked like the pitcher they bought. 10 shutout innings, 13 Ks, 2 walks versus the Cubs and the Cardinals since coming back from Korea. Kings, he has been solid for the Padres as well. In his last start, elite, 7 shutout innings against the Giants. This is a slightest of leans here to San Diego. I like the way Kings looked. Yamamoto's been better, but it looks like they're being cautious with his innings and pitch count, keeping him at around that 5-inning limit. And we'll see what you get out of King today. Here's my issue with this. Dodgers at home is absolutely elite. 6-1 this season. NL best 53-28 last year. They won 4-6 against San Diego. Really tough to want to go against this Dodgers team on their home field. Would be Padres or nobody, but not enough for me to go against LA today.
Look, we went against the Dodgers on getaway day against the Twins, and we got a W there. You got to pick your spots. We don't just bet it. We bet against Atlanta yesterday. That's where the value is going to be. We told you this before the season starts. We'll keep reminding you. The value is not going to be laying the Dodgers or laying the Braves. Okay, it's going to be against them with teams like the Marlins or in this spot. This is not one of those spots for me. I don't see any reason to like San Diego. They did split the 2 games of Korea last year. Dodgers pretty much have owned this series. They pretty much owned the series, I guess, except for the 20. What was it? The 22?
Yeah, 22 playoffs. Yep.
When San Diego got them there, but I think you might want to start stretching Yamamoto out a little bit more. That Dodger top 3. I mean, I'm not breaking any fucking news bulletins here, but I told Ben maybe we just bet the Yerfie like suckers, like squares every day with the Dodgers because that top 3 is real scary. I just think the number's right. I don't think the number's right many times with the Dodgers. Usually it's an overlay. Today, I don't think it's an overlay.
We got Twins at Tigers at this next one. Great pitching matchup with 2 bad offenses. Twins, they just got that last win there against the Dodgers, but only putting up 3 runs. They're hitting just 156 in that homestand, 5-game homestand. Detroit not playing any better. You're coming off that series against the Pirates. They rallied with 4 in the 9th, got some luck there. They did have the advantage in the season series last year, winning 8 of 13, 4-7 in Detroit. This is all about the pitching matchup. Lopez versus Cue Ball. Lopez, great versus the Tigers last year. 3 runs, 13 innings, 18 Ks, 1 walks, and 2 starts in Detroit. Skewball hasn't faced the Twins since 22. All he did was 12 shutout innings. 2 teams not hitting, 2 elite pitchers. You're looking at an under here. And I lean to Detroit on the game just because Twins bats are that abysmal. Need a little bit less on this price. Hoping some guys out there bet Lopez knock it down for me.
Yeah, this is a rain out from yesterday, just coming right back to the same 2 pitches today, as Ben said. The 2 aces of their respective staffs against 2 abysmal offenses. Twins are terrible, and even worse against lefties. Though, I'm sorry, did I say worse against lefties? Let me just make sure on that. Are hitting just 156 in the last few games. I think they're actually hitting a little better against lefties, but hitting 184 on the year. I'm sorry, terrible batting there. Let's go to that next game.
Yeah, Yankees at Guardians. John, we'll let you take this one. Though we got a bet here: Schmidt versus Carrasco.
Yep, this is another one of our bets, and Yankees have got off to a great start, especially on the road. A few of those games we were at Arizona, who I say just don't look right just yet. The pitching matchup, Schmidt against Carrasco. Now, Carrasco's horrible for you New Yorkers that watched Carrasco throw BP basically for the Mets last year. He got 3 innings. They got 3 innings out of him last year. So there's a pitching edge, no question about it for the Yankees. Just don't make it big enough to make them this big a favorite on the road. Now, we took this game earlier in the morning when it was at plus 133. The sharps are all over the Guardians in this one. And if I call the Guardians the Indians during the course of the year, as I will, so just know that I'm talking about the Cleveland Guardians. Got off to a nice little start. Suffered a tough blow with Bieber. Going to have to go for Tommy John surgery. But they're going to have to do it with hitting. And they don't do it with hitting. This team, one of the lowest scoring teams in the league last year. But again, just the numbers say with the Yankees on the road, there's a little value. Cleveland at home against Schmidt.
We got Angels at Red Sox. Detmers versus Howe. Couple of good pitchers who've been pitching well. We'll see if they kind of settle into the norms, facing some better offenses down the stretch of the season. Boston, the issue heading in was pitching. They have the MLB best starter ERA right now. Granted, against some bad teams, but even in that Baltimore series, a couple of quality starts in a row versus the Orioles. Bullpen letting them down. This one, they just faced last week. Detmers, he had 12 Ks in a quality start versus the Sox. Houck, he had 6 shutout innings versus the Angels. They met last year, both couple of good starts. Detmers had a quality start at Boston. Houck, 3 runs in 10 innings and 2 starts versus the Angels. 2 pitchers going well, 2 pitchers who go well against one another. Seeing each other in the same time in 1 week, though, and in and out a hitter-friendly ballpark in Boston. Always weird with those kind of splits there, seeing the same pitcher once or twice in a week. Leaning the Sox in this game. Like the way they've been playing. Coming off a couple of tough losses. Blow a 5-0 lead to the Orioles in the first game. Last night, they blow a lead again, and then they give up 5 in the 10th inning. Had a couple of games they probably should have won against the Orioles. Bullpen let it slip. Angels did not like the way they looked on that homestand. They played some gross baseball there, with the exception of Mike Trout playing like the best player in baseball again. Not much going on for the Halos here. Boston or nobody for me.
Next game, we got Texas and Houston. These are the 2 teams that met in the AL Championship Series this year, and they look like anything but. Yeah. Texas already missing a big piece. Jong, the third baseman, got hurt early. He's going to be out for quite a while. Just not generating any offense. And we're talking about against Oakland's pitching. They got blanked again yesterday. Houston, what a nightmare start there off the 2-5 at home, 2-5 on the road. Mm-hmm. Remember, Houston, Jay, they just couldn't win at home. Under 500 at home last year for the Astros. Texas, better at home than on the road. You got Dunning against France here. A lean to Texas. If the number was to go higher, hey, I'd have to go against this Houston team that's just not getting it done. But 2 teams not looking like what they looked like just back in October in the AL championship series.
Got Giants at Tampa Bay. Good amount of these interleague series going on this weekend. So this is the first of those. San Francisco going with Wynn. He's made about 9-10 career starts. Couple of this year, not good. 7 runs, 7 hits, and 11 innings. Granted, against 2 of your better offenses in that division, Padres and Dodgers. Tampa Bay bullpen game going today, and they are, excuse me, they've kind of honed that the last couple of years. Actually, these 2 teams specifically do the most bullpen games of anyone in baseball. Rays, you guys know the story with them at home last year. AL best home record. Pretty decent road trip. 4-2, granted against the Rockies and Angels, couple of bottom 5-10 teams, but they took care of business nonetheless. And we are on Tampa Bay today. Took it at 105. You're looking at a Rays team, obviously with a home edge here in this matchup. And young pitcher here for the Giants hasn't looked good. Now going to one of the toughest places as far as home advantage, it would be got to back the Tampa Bay bullpen. They do it better than anybody else.
Yeah, this is, as Ben said, this is one of our best minus 105. Just a cheap price. I don't bet a lot of favorites, but this is a cheap price to lay. Tampa Bay, one of your best road teams, home teams in baseball last year. San Fran, terrible on the road. Not going to give Wynn much of a pitching advantage. Yes, look at the stats for what's this guy's name?
Wagzapak.
I had a tough time saying this guy's name, but he's been absolutely horrible. 3 outings. He's given up 6 runs in 6 innings, but he's going to be as an opener, and nobody does the bullpen game like the Rays do. I don't think the Rays are the same team, but if this was last year in a bullpen game, they're $1.40. No. So the value here to me, I made this game 122. We laid 05.
Got Brewers at Baltimore next. Just as I said, where the Red Sox probably should have won a couple of those Baltimore crazy games they're coming off of at Fenway. Pull off a couple of games late. Might be a little bit of a letdown after doing that against a division rival. And they're going up against a tough guy to do it. Peralta, 2 starts. He's been solid, 4 runs in 11 2/3 against the Mariners and Mets. Granted, it's the Mariners and Mets. And Brewers, they were rained out yesterday, so didn't play that final game of that series at Cincinnati. Like this price here for Peralta, has the pitching edge in the matchup. Yes, Baltimore playing good ball, playing better after that series at Fenway. Bat started going. They called up Halladay, waiting to see him get going. Very young lineup. Absolutely a lot of potential as far as the season getting better and better. Just like this price for Peralta today. Bit of a letdown in the Orioles in my eyes.
Yeah, and I just felt Pick'em was right on the number. Peralta, obviously the ace of the Brewers staff. Still not sold on the Brewers. Looking at their schedule, Cincy at home, a couple of wins, a team that they've dominated. Cincy, They caught the Mets when the Mets they couldn't hit me pitching that first series. So let's see if the schedule has something to play with it. When you beat other American League East teams, as the Orioles just did against the Red Sox in Boston, tells me a little something. Baltimore's still a team. They won 100 games last year. This is one of your better teams. I think they only got better this year. Maybe not right now, but by the end of the year, they're going to be a better team. I think the number is right in this one, even though Peralta gets the pitching advantage. No bet here for me.
I mean, they got 5 guys in that lineup that are first-round picks in the last 3 years. I mean, it's just top-loaded. It's OKC of the MLB. They got
did it the right way. Did it the right way.
Yep. They got a minor league team that's better than the Oakland A's right now, still with more loaded talent to come.
Right. I don't know how many of you guys saw, but they put up 26 the other day in one of the AAA games. Yeah. That's when obviously Halladay was still down there.
You got Rockies at Toronto here on this next one, John.
Blech, Rockies on the road. It's just so tough to pull the trigger on them on the road. Home, you guys know we were on them a couple of times, and it's even tough to play them there. But on the road, I just don't want any part of them. Guzman, off to a shaky start. We know he's better than this. Toronto, they seem to get a little better going back home after a tough road start. I think the numbers where it should be against the Rocky team that is the worst road team in baseball. So no interest in them today.
Yeah, definitely chicken soup there for Gosman. We got Royals at the Mets in this next one. Loving what this Kansas City team is doing so far. 7-0 on the homestand. And their pitching has been absolutely elite. They're allowing just 1.8 run per game here on that homestand. They've faced some top talent. Minnesota, who's supposed to be a division favorite. Baltimore, one of your division favorites. Houston, one of your division favorites. And they're taking care of business against all of them. They did go 1-2 in that one road series they've had this season at Baltimore. Granted, it's the O's. And interested to see how much of that road struggles continues on this year. They were horrible on the road last year, but I think they got the best rotation in baseball. Got another guy going today who's shown that. Waka coming off a quality start against the White Sox. He had 2 hits, 7 shutout innings there. Severino going for the Mets. Shaky start. He looked really good in the spring, and he's been very shaky the last couple years with the Yankees. Interested to see if he can get back to that top-level stuff. With Senga injured, Quintana and Severino looking like your 1-2. We'll see what they can get out of Sevy today. Give me KC, 7 in a row, and the pitching has been elite. They are in every single game they have been in so far this season. Even the games they've lost them in the 8th, 9th inning. I'll take plus money with that all day.
So you guys should know by now, Ben has got a phenomenal opinion. So ahead of I don't want to say guys his age, ahead of 99% of the cappers in this business. And he had the right call on KC from day one, as he was telling me. Now, I knew KC was obviously going to be much better than last year, but they look like they're even that next level, could challenge. Ben called it. He said they could challenge for the Central Division Championship, and that's where the path that they're on. But they just didn't get it done on the road last year. Mets always play better at Citi Field. Their team is built for that park, and they put 16 on the board yesterday. Tough. KC put 13 of their own on there. Just tough to I don't see a value in the spot. I think the number was $1.20. Actually, there's a little money that's shown up for the Mets because now the game is up to $1.30. I think the game is a fair number on it, and that's what we bet, guys. We bet numbers. So like I said, Mets really good at home. Their history says KC not so much better at home. Also, not so much on the road. Pitching edge, we're going to give Waka the pitching edge, but just not enough. Should it be a pick'em game? I can't make it a pick'em game with the difference from home to away. So that's why I say to me it's a square game. It's the price is right, and that's the price is right on most games. We look for the one that there's an edge. This one I don't see it. Ben, like I says, I know he's got the KC even rated better than I do. That still remains to be seen how they do it on the road.
We got Reds at White Sox next. Going to be Abbott now filling in here for what was originally Martinez for Cincinnati today. They got rained out yesterday against Milwaukee. You have this White Sox team who's just been abysmal this season. They went 1-4 so far at home. They were second worst at home last year. I hate saying this out loud. I lean to the White Sox today. I like this White Sox spot. You have Reds who haven't been playing the best of ball. They played above level last year. Haven't quite seen that this year. They have been a bit better on the road. They typically are 3-3 on the road this year. White Sox, who bats have been non-existent most of the season, all of a sudden, last 2 games, put up 13 runs. So can that carry over against Cincinnati and young pitching? And Abbott, we'll see. Big price here with the home dog, but without the travel here, with the light travel there, Cleveland to Chicago, give me the White Sox home dog in this one.
Look, I was prepared to like the White Sox when it was against Martinez. Don't want no part of them against Abbott. They're hitting a buck and change against left-handed pitches. As far as Cincy, a little bit different. McLean, the shortstop, Friedel, center fielder, both guys, they're on the injured list started the season there. They take a couple of bats out of the line. That's the difference. What has looked better is the pitching staff. Now, we know that Green, he can be electric at times. That pitching staff could be shaping up. Let's see what Abbott can give them today. Remember, when he first came up last year, this kid was lights out. They kind of got to him towards the end. Let's see if he could pick that back up. Since he a better road team than they are at home. White Sox, while I call the Rockies the worst road team, the White Sox are the worst home team. These are all by my ratings, guys. When I talk about my ratings, for you Master Edge members, you go to the baseball, go to the ratings, and you'll see where I have teams rated. And those ratings are based on 162 games. How many games would they win, whether it be home or away, against a 500 team? For that matter, you can go and see the look where I've got the difference with Kansas City, who I've got as a plus 90 win team at home, but a less than 70 wins on the road. Again, part of the reasons why I like the Mets. Not that I like them, is not why I don't like KC in that one. But in this game, I've just got Cincy better on the road. I got White Sox terrible on the road. Still going to give Abbott the pitching edge here. So again, I just think it's the right number. I'm not betting Cincy. Just think that I don't think there's enough of an edge to want to bet the worst home team in baseball.
Cubs at Seattle next. Couple of young pitchers going at it. Wicks and Miller. Miller, he's similar to Abbott last year. Came up absolutely lights out at the start and then kind of fell off as hitters caught on. He is coming off a really good start against the Brewers. 7 shutout innings, 7 Ks, 1 walk. Wicks, he's been roughed up a bit. 7 runs in 8 2/3, only 4 earned. Granted, though, against 2 of your top 3 offenses from last year, Rangers and Dodgers, 2 of your best lineups in all of baseball. I don't think the only other one comparable is Atlanta. So give that a little bit with a grain of salt. Cubbies not playing so good on the road this year. Really, really good on the homestand. Just 2-4 so far on the road. Seattle, they're coming off a win there against Toronto. They go 2-4 on the trip. A little bit of a price you'd have to lay here, but I'm giving Miller the pitching edge. Haven't liked what I've seen from the Cubs on the road. I think this could be a spot here for Seattle. Would need that price to drop a little more.
Yeah, Cubs were getting it done. We had them in that game against the Dodgers at home. A little bit of a different team on the road. Same thing last year. Played better at home. The last game of the day, you got Nationals, a team that we like to back on the road against Oakland. But I don't want to buck Blackburn. We were on Blackburn, and he took a victory at Detroit for us, a beautifully pitched game. He hasn't been scored on yet, his 2 outings, so not bucking that situation. Oakland, a couple of wins against Texas, but still ain't hitting a lick. So tough game, tough to make Oakland a favorite, but with Blackburn on the mound, the number is the right number, maybe a couple of pennies. Just no value, not enough to want to get the Nationals in this spot, although they play well on the road. You guys know we went with them in that against that San Fran series at plus 210. These are the numbers that you guys should be watching every day. So we've said it over and over, guys. So to get 150 or 200 views, to get 10 likes, to get 2 comments on the videos, hey, blow us up on the podcast. We'll do a podcast every day. If not, go become a member at Massa Edge. For right now, for today, I'd like to get paid $2.99 just for today. I've been up since 6 a.m. I went to bed at 1 in the morning. Where you got a full NBA card, a full baseball card. We are working our asses off. We are red hot right now. I don't want to jinx it going into today because we got a lot of action. But yeah, there's for $299 a month. Not only do you get our bets, okay, but you get a preview on every single game, whether we bet it or not. All the ratings, which can tell you once the NBA playoffs start, because there's no back-to-backs. Those numbers, the home and away numbers, will tell you exactly what the line is, except for the fact of must game, who's won 2 in a row, injuries, obviously, and then teams matching up. So those numbers are going to be right on target. And then, obviously, our notifications. We've got so many notifications. I forget who it was in our chat. It was like, how do I shut off the injury notifications and just keep the bet notifications? Our notifications are so literally when a player gets tweeted out that he's out of the lineup, we pick up that tweet and retweet it out or resend it out through our app, and everybody knows immediately who's in or who's out. Huge. Sundays, just keep this in mind. Sundays for baseball, big day. Day games after night games. Guys are going to sit. Catchers are usually going to sit. So that's always big for the baseball. We're at the end of the season here, but the next 2 days, today and Sunday in NBA, if you don't want notifications, if you're trying to take a nap, shut the phone off because that thing's going to be going off crazy. Once the playoffs start, a little bit different. The notifications for injuries won't be big in basketball. Everybody knows who's in and who's out.
Yep, guys, a lot of action coming up this weekend. 75 games between baseball and the NBA. Make sure you guys sign up on the app or website if you guys want insight for all those games. Check back in with us on Monday for your guys' NBA playoffs breakdown. And, hey, we gave you guys 4 bets. We gave you a winner on Monday. Hopefully we can keep it rolling, staying absolutely red hot. John, we got a lot to get to and a lot of games to keep up with for the rest of the day. Let's get to that and let's make some money.
Let's get back to work, guys. Give us some likes, a comment, and what else you want to do. Become a member, subscribe, do all of those things. Help us out.
Yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's have a weekend.
Let's make some money.